welcome back. Now I'm gonna do a fabulous red velvet cake which tastes delicious and incredibly moist, soft, buttery, and as well I'm gonna do a cream cheese frosting for topping. Let's see how to do it. Come on in. So at first I'm going to get the dry ingredients ready, for which I'm taking 300 grams cake flour. If you don't have cake flour, you could also take fine flour. Sift it in. The reason I'm sifting is to make sure that there aren't any lumps and for the cake to be nice and soft. Add in 1 spoon of baking powder or 6 grams of baking powder, 1 spoon of salt or 6 grams, and 6 grams of cocoa powder. The reason I'm taking 6 grams of cocoa powder is because this is a dark cocoa powder. If it is light, I would take 15 grams. Red velvet cake is such a unique cake as it has vanilla flavor with a hint of chocolate flavor. Now I'm going to get the wet ingredients ready. So in a bigger bowl, in a bigger and a clean bowl, I'm taking 115 grams unsalted butter. Make sure that this butter is at room temperature. Whisk it a bit. Add in 340 grams granulated sugar. And blend it well. I'm going to take 2 eggs and add 1 egg at a time. The reason I'm adding 1 egg at a time is to make sure that it blends well. And add the other egg. One spoon vanilla extract. This gives a nice flavor to the cake. Make sure that this mixture is nice and fluffy and air is incorporated in the mixture. Whisk it really well to the point you could see it's going paler and fluffier. The reason is to get a softer cake. I've got 240 ml buttermilk. To it, I'm adding 1 spoon vinegar. Give it a mix. And I'm going to add red gel food color. Initially, I'm adding 1 spoon red gel food color. The gel food color gives a nice and a vibrant color. Look at that. Give it a nice mix. If you would like to add more food color, you could do so. You could add as much or as little as you prefer. I'm adding the dry ingredients half at a time to the wet ingredient. Give it a nice mix. And add in the other half. make sure the flour blends really well with the butter mixture. I'm now adding the buttermilk mixture with the food color. Adding buttermilk to the cake mixture keeps the cake really nice and moist. I've added a bit more of food color. Red velvet cake is such a unique cake as it has vanilla flavor with a hint of chocolate flavor, which goes really well. Greasing in the cake tray with unsalted butter. This is to make sure that the cake doesn't stick onto the pan. And I've taken a 9-inch round tray. Pop in a parchment paper at the bottom. Pour in the cake mixture. And I'm going to do it in 2 separate trays. Look at the consistency. You can see the ribbon-like consistency, which is the right consistency for the cake mixture. I'm just giving it a little swirl in the cake to level it up. Pop it in the preheated oven for about 30 minutes at 175 degrees Celsius. Now the cake is ready, nice and fluffy, vibrant red. So let me set it aside for it to cool down before I can take it off. The cake has come really well. Taking the parchment paper off. Look at that, it's nice and it's really soft. You can leave the cake as it is and cream it on top, or you could do like I do now. I'm just taking the edges off and I'll be using the crumbs to dust it on the sides. You could take the top layer if you want to, or leave it as it is. I'll keep this as a top layer of the cake, and this the top portion I have taken the crust off, so I'll keep it to the bottom. Now I'm gonna do cream cheese for topping and for layering up the cakes. So I'm taking 450 grams cheese cream. Whisk the cream cheese. Now I have taken 300 grams powdered sugar or icing sugar, added to the cream cheese. The reason I've taken powdered sugar or icing sugar is I want to get a smooth cream. Add 1 spoon of vanilla essence to give it a flavor to the cream cheese frosting, and blend it. In a separate bowl, I'm taking 270 ml double cream and whisk it till you get stiff peaks. There you can see the stiff peaks which I got from double cream, which is to be added on to the cheese cream. And this gives a very good taste and flavor to the cheese frosting. And give it a final whisk. You could either pipe in, or you could just use a spatula and layer the cream cheese frosting. Pop in the first layer of the cake at the bottom. Let me pop the cream in the piping bag. And start creaming it. level it up using the spatula. Now do the second layer on the top of the cream, and again the cream on the topmost layer. You could do as many layers as you want. I'm just doing 2 layers. Now I'm popping the cream cheese frosting in a piping bag to pipe it around and on top of the cake. If you have extra cream cheese, you could also freeze it and use it later. I'm going to level it up now on the top and on the sides. I've just smoothed out the cheese cream on top and on the sides before doing the final decoration. And so, because the cheese cream is a bit loose now, I'm going to pop it in the fridge for it to set really well. I'm going to do some decorations initially, and got some red velvet dusting to do the outer line. I prepared the piping bag like so, coned it up, and I've got some crumb cake from the cake base which we prepared. Saved some and crumbled it up. So I'm going to decorate the crumb cake on the sides so it looks pretty. It's nice and dry. And I popped this cake in the fridge before I could do the crumb cake. Make sure you don't press it hard, else you will mess up the icing. And even if there are any imperfections, this decoration would hide it up. And so again, I'm doing some beads, some edible beads, to give it a more shimmery look. I'm just placing the flowers to decorate it. Because the flower is plain, I thought of dusting it with some red velvet dusting so it looks pretty. The light shows up against the dark. And guys, there it is. The red velvet cake is ready. It looks pretty. Now let's cut it and see how it looks on the inside. Let me cut the cake. It is set really, really well. It's not floppy or something like that, but even as you can see, it's nice and firm. Give it a little wiggle. Now let's take it out. You could try this recipe at home, and if you like it, make sure you smash the subscribe button and leave your comments below. Thanks, bye!